All right, guys, it's my last day at the Everglades Alligator Farm. We're gonna do a feeding show, so I got a whole bunch of meat back here. Albert's been cutting it up for me all day because he's one of the best people around. He's really the butcher of the farm. Look at all this meat. Look at all that. Oh, look at all that. Hey, come over here. What do we got over here, Al? Huh? Some pork?
That's for the crocodile.
That's for the crocodile?
Get a bigger chunk.
Awesome. That's a spicy meatball.
These are for the grow-up.
Okay, so can I grab this?
This is going to go to the juvenile. All right, opportunity.
Oh yeah. So Albert has owned snakes his whole life. He's got king cobras, he's got black mamba, he's got all kinds of deadly animals. He's filmed for the WWE, he's been all over around the world. Talk a little bit to the camera, tell him about yourself.
Not really.
Oh yeah. Oh, look at that. Very nice. Very nice. Now here at the Everglades Alligator Farm, there's several shows that are done here. We have a snake show, we have an alligator feeding show, and we have an alligator handling show. So we show you the old techniques that Native Americans would use to capture alligators with their bare hands. We throw a couple stunts in there as well. So right now we're gonna go do the feeding show. This is my best buddy, Chucho. I've been working with him for the past year. Chucho, say what you gotta say. What? Say it again. Speak.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Oh, okay, there we go. This is my buddy. I'm gonna miss him. And that beard. It's like
Pero señor,
What?
Señor,
What?
¿cuándo me va a dar mi dinero?
I told you enough with the Spanish or you're gone. I'm sending you back, okay? Jeez. It's Bongo's cousin. Who's Bongo? It's Fiesta Jones. All right, you ready? Feeding show starting right now at the big pond.
Yes! Yay!
You guys ready?
Yes!
Okay.
I want to run!
Don't run. If you trip and fall, everyone here loses their job. Come on, big boy. Woo. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Good boy. The feeding show! Yeah! All right, my name's Chandler. If you haven't met me yet, I'll be feeding these alligators. In this exhibit, we have around 150 alligators on display. For every male, there's about 2 to 3 females. So during the mating season, they don't have to fight over a mate. Now when it comes to the water in this exhibit, there's constant well water being pumped in here, so if there's a bad dry season, this area won't dry out, and they don't have to fight over a mud wall for survival like the wild alligators have to do in the drought. Now when it comes to the size of this exhibit, it's an acreage enclosure that goes beyond the dirt mound into a large swamp. It's all fenced in, these are all captive alligators, so there's plenty of space for them to keep to themselves. The only reason they congregate right here, right now, is because they're smart enough to know I'm the guy who feeds them. Now when it comes to feeding shows, we do 2 to 4 feeding shows a day with about a bucket that big full of meat. It's like a snack. So to make sure that everybody eats, we dump about 2 to 3 trailerfuls of meat donated by all the local Walmarts in South Florida. We dump it right here in a large pile. Everybody comes up and gorges themselves. That's how we manage to feed them. And you can tell we're doing a good job because everybody in here is fat. Now, today on the menu, we have chicken, we have turkey necks, we have ribs. The dangerous thing about alligator feeding shows, alligators can jump 2/3 their own body length. Come on, big boy. Come on. Go ahead. Ooh, there we go. The cool thing about alligators is that they're reptiles. They don't have to eat every couple hours for energy like you and I do, like a mammal does. So in reality, a full-grown alligator is going to eat about once a week to once every 3 weeks out in the wild. And if there's a bad drought, this comes in handy because a full-grown alligator or crocodile can go a whole year without eating any food at all, living off the fatty tissue in their body and conserving their energy, waiting for the wet season to bring back all that food. Now the 6 to 8 foot alligators in this exhibit, anywhere from 10 all the way to 15 years old. The 9 to 13 foot gators we have anywhere from 15 all the way up to 80 years old. They can live up to 100 years in captivity because they have a slow heart rate and they conserve their energy like a tortoise. What was that? That was the laziest jump I've ever seen. Come on. Come on.
Get out of here.
Come on. Come on.
Oh, he's
Come on. You can have it though. Oh, there we go.
That one is
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody took it.
somebody take it.
Oh yeah. Come on. Come on. Get up here. Come on. Come on. Get the tourists. Get him. Alright, that's a fence. Oh, good boy. Now, out of all the animals on the planet, alligators have one of the strongest immune systems of any animal. So, if they get their arm ripped off by another alligator, they can have their bone exposed and sit in a nasty mud wallow full of bacteria, and they won't gain infection. About a couple weeks later, they'll heal up like nothing ever happened to them. And speaking of severed limbs, they can get their tail ripped off, they can get a leg ripped off, part of their face, and they can stop the blood flow to their wound, preventing them from bleeding out. That's how hardy these animals are. That's how soft they make us look. Now let me see what else I got here. Big pieces of meat. There we go. Now, out of all the crocodilian species on the planet, crocodilians are the family gators come from. Out of all 24 different species, alligators are the most evolved because they're the only ones that can survive in an environment that snows. So you can find a full-grown alligator frozen in a pond with all the ice around its snout in Alabama or southeast Texas during the winter, and as long as he can still breathe, that snout is exposed above the ice, he will survive throughout that winter. You can take the biggest, baddest croc on the planet, like a saltwater crocodile, stick him in the same pond, he's gonna die in 30 to 40 minutes of that cold weather because he's not adapted to that environment. Come on, Stumpy. Good boy. Get big and strong.
Tell the difference between a male and a female?
So the difference between a male and a female, you're gonna like this. So males are much bigger, females are much smaller. But if you have the same size range and they're young and you need to tell, they have a slit in the back of their legs called a cloaca. You're supposed to stick your finger inside that slit, and if there's nothing, it's a female. If it's a male, something pokes you back. Oh. That's how you tell, but don't do it for fun. They don't like it. Do it for scientific purposes. Good boy. Come on.
Alligator. I want to feed an alligator.
It wasn't big.
Oh. You guys don't know. Come on, this guy's a jumper. Let's see what he does. Yeah, there we go. Oh, what was that? Now, when it comes to alligator attacks here in the state of Florida, they can occur several different ways. One could be feeding wild alligators. Here in Florida, it's illegal. If you get caught feeding a wild alligator, it's a citation and possible jail time. The reason for that is because when you feed a wild alligator, they lose their natural fear of people, making them very dangerous. So, imagine an alligator with this temperament in your backyard with no protective fence keeping you safe. Maybe you're aware of the situation because you've been feeding that alligator, but your neighbor's kids don't know about it. They go out bass fishing in the local pond, and that alligator launches at them, or even worse, attacks them trying to get food. Now, you're gonna feel pretty bad about it. Even worse, when you find out the minute you feed it, it's declared a nuisance alligator, and it must be removed from that neighborhood or community, whatever it is. So, an alligator trapper comes out, grabs that alligator up, puts him in the truck, and he takes him to be processed. So that means he puts it down, sells it for the meat and the hide. That's how he makes a living. So, if you feed wild alligators, you endanger yourself, you endanger the people around you, you face legal problems, and the worst part about it is the alligator's gonna get put down, and all he wanted was some food. So don't feed the wildlife, especially when it can rip your arm off. Now speaking of alligator attacks, do you guys think swimming with them is a good idea? Run, there's alligators in there! Go, 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 go! Swallow it! Swallow it! Get out of there! Ah, he got it. He's good. Do not go skydiving within a mile of this park. I don't care how good the coupon is. If you land in that water, I'm not helping you. Now if you swim in the water with an alligator and your head's at the surface of the water, your hair's wet. It looks like a wet raccoon or a rabbit. They're designed to eat small mammals, so he's gonna come up behind you, crunch down on your skull thinking you're an easy prey item. If you're lucky, he's gonna realize that there's a large human body attached. He's not a croc designed to rip you apart, so he might let go. But by then, your scalp's hanging off like a bad toupee. You got a skull fracture. Oh, don't be the Don't be rude. So do not swim in any body of water in any country or state with crocodilians, because a full-grown alligator, like a 10, 12-foot alligator, can be hiding in less than 12 inches of water. So watch out for those puddles as well. Come on. Now can you guys guess? What's the dumbest way to be attacked by an alligator? Working at this park, doing shows for you guys. Thanks for coming. If you have any questions, my name's Chandler. If you enjoyed the show, feel free to show your appreciation. Next show's a snake show at 4 o'clock. Thanks for coming, guys. Have a wonderful day.